good time jumping from the trampoline yesterday, we continued working on the marketplace until night. There was a zombie invasion that took us by surprise. Fortunately, the village golem did a great job walking around, clearing out all the zombies. It was amazing to see the golem in action. The zombies were flying around like trash dolls from the golem hits. We could more or less just walk behind and pick up the rewards for it. A single creeper snuck up in the dawn and of course made a deep dent in the pathway right next to the marketplace. I always carry a stack of dirt with me to fill in unwanted holes. Those creepers are just devastating. We're lucky it didn't explode closer to the building. Currently building on the front center part of the house. It is a small dormer in between the two towers. The red color of the stripped acacia logs is a nice contrast to the light veranda birch and the roof sandstone. Kalam is in the village talking with the elder about the iron farm he's planning on. He was a bit nervous about it, since the elder might consider the job for the villagers in the farm a bit too dangerous. We came up with an idea of letting them ride on a railroad from the village, just for fun. If they like it, they might be a bit more positive to the job in the iron farm. While I finish the house, Kalam will finish his plans for the iron farm and collect the materials needed for it. If the elder agrees to it, that is. The roof of the dormer is built with acacia stairs. Some red contrasting the white roof will look nice, I think. Inside on the third story, I use sandstone for the floors. Even this floor will be opened down to the basement, so the big map on the bottom floor will be visible all the way to the top. The final touch of the dormer includes some acacia and birch fences, just for the nice looks of it. All the dirt that I put everywhere is just for me to step on while building on parts of the house that I cannot reach otherwise. Dirt is more practical to use than scaffolding on those tricky places. The dirt is removed when I don't need it anymore. On both sides of the front dormer, I built a red roof over the front veranda. This roof is less steep than the main roof and is therefore made of logs and slabs. When the front part of the house is finished, I start building on the main roof. I use sandstone stairs on the lower parts of it. There will also be sandstone slabs and regular sandstone higher up on the roof. On each side of the wider part of the house, I build red acacia roofs. These red roofs, right behind each tower, are covering the veranda as well. The entire front part of the house is done. The red side sections are also finished, and only some of the bigger sandstone roof remains to be built. There is still a lot of work to be done on the house, so I climbed up a jungle tree to enjoy the views, taking a big breath before continuing. While I build the rest of the roof, I'm thinking of the quest that the elder gave us on the meeting last week. The first thing that he wanted us to do was to build a place for them to sell their goods. We already built the marketplace for them at the end of last week, and the elder expressed his gratitude for it. The next thing he wanted our help with is to cure the sick villagers. Kalam and I have talked about building a hospital so we can isolate the sick until they're well. We will use our healing bread, which we know will do some magic for them. It will also help them have children so the village can grow. With the hospital, we actually solved two of the quests, healing the sick and breeding. For their trade, we will have to grow sugar canes and make paper from it. They will need a massive amount of paper. The sugar canes growing along the riverside is not enough for making all paper needed, so we will have to come up with a solution for a bigger production of paper as well. The elder also mentioned that they will need more houses and workplaces for new inhabitants once their children grow up. The looters destroyed most of the houses and workplaces in the village, and the villagers were used as slaves in all hard labor. Only a few farmers were allowed to continue working, since the looters wanted the food they produced. Most houses and workplaces were destroyed to keep the villagers oppressed. It's not a small task the elder put on our shoulders. When I thought he was just suspicious and almost hostile towards us, he instead observed our progress in building and constructing. Kalam has also been talking a lot with the elder during the few weeks we have lived here. Thus, the elder has come to trust our ability to help them become a thriving society again. I just hope we will succeed with all the tasks he gave us. We will have to build so many farms to keep up with both our own and the villagers' needs. Now the house is finished, and it is time to move in all the workstations, chests, and all the goods inside of them. It will be quite empty now in the beginning, but I'm sure we will soon fill up the house with all kinds of things. In one of the towers, there will be a stairway. I start building from the basement and upwards to the first floor. I also built stairs that will lead down to a big cellar under the house, which will serve as a storage. We already have so many chests, and it will soon be impossible to sort and find all the goods inside of them. Therefore, I have plans for a sorting room. I will tell more about that later. When the stairway is finished, I can remove the temporary dirt stairs in the map room. Kalam suggested to have a small glass floor sticking out from the balcony for an easier overview of the map. Here is our finished Queenslander house. I am proud of it, and I think it's beautiful. What do you think? There are so many details on the veranda, the towers and the dormers, and most of them are not seen on these pictures. There is still a lot of decorating to be done, both inside and in the garden. I will plant the cherry trees that we found some seedlings for on our latest exploration tour, but I do all the planting and decoration little by little. Inside the map room, looking around, it looks majestic, don't you think? Now we have come to the day when some villagers will try riding in a railroad cart. Not all villagers feel like it, which they show very pronouncedly. But others are very keen on trying and willingly sit down in the cart. After a short while, we have 3 volunteers. They are just dying to try the railroad, and they have totally agreed to work in the iron farm after the elder explained the job for them. They expressed that this will feel like a good variation to just walk around in the village doing nothing but humming. The new railroad stretches all the way to the building site for the iron farm behind our Queenslander house, over the river and through the jungle next to the house. The villagers are having so much fun going back and forth on the railroad in the village while Kalam is pushing their carts. I can notice some giggling among the humming. Instead of pushing the carts all the way to the iron farm, Kalam instead uses an engine cart that pushes the 3 carts with villagers. On my way back from the village, I spot an ocelot next to our house. They are very shy and therefore seldom seen. I put up my drone in the air again for some footage all the way from the village, past our house and over to the iron farm. After securing the 3 villagers in the little hut in the background, Kalam has already started working on the iron farm under the tall jungle tree. Kalam just continues working after sunset, and of course we get attacked by phantoms in the night. They are hard to hit and even worse in the jungle, so we lured them into the front of the house where there aren't any trees yet. In the morning, Kalam continues on the platform where the 3 villagers will be working. the zombie to the center of the platform. Rises on the last day of the week, and we are both proud of all the work we have done. The house is finished, we moved in, and I planted an avenue of cherry trees leading up to the house. The iron farm is working great, giving plenty of iron and giving some work for 3 of the villagers. Next week we will start building the hospital in the village so all the sick villagers can be cured. They will then work as traders in the marketplace. We will also explore a bit more southward, and I will decorate the house. I'm so excited to see the elder's reaction after we have accomplished all his tasks. And I hope to see you next week as well. Bye for now.